Hello traders, the title of the video is a role of central banks in recession. All right, so you may say to me, George, I'm a technical trader, I'm a swing trader, I'm a day trader, I'm a position trader. I do not have to know about the central bank roles in the recession. I may say to you that's completely wrong. Why? Because, all right, the hedge fund, the position traders pay attention to the central bank. In fact, the central banks are the referees in the financial markets, all right, with their policy, their decision that will affect the global economy or the national economy. That is the starting bell that everybody in the financial market, the market participant, must acknowledge. All right. So decisions that are made by the hedge fund will affect day traders, scalpers, or swing traders. So you want to understand a little bit more how the central bank, make their decision during a recession. So we have a recent recession in 2008. All right. So if you are born before 2008, all right. So you will know that the central bank around the world, whether you are in Japan, the Bank of Japan, all right, was devaluing the yen like a crazy, all right. In fact, they were the first one devaluing the yen all over the place, okay. And also we have in America, the Federal Reserve Bank, another central bank, that was devaluing the dollar all over the place, all right. And this had a repercussion on countries like Russia, India, China, all right, Africa, all right. So all those developing countries, suddenly the inflation start going up big time. So things that people were buying like, all right, 50 cents is now almost 100 cents. So because of the inflation. So in this tutorial, all right, I'm going to give traders three specific roles that the central banks will play during a recession. All right. So be sure to watch this video so you may understand the three roles that the central bank are playing during a recession. So the reason why a trader will ask a question like this, the reason why a swing trader or a day trader or a technical trader will ask a question like this is because that trader is maturing, understanding that it's not all about the technical analysis alone, that the fundamentals and the central bank decision will definitely affect a day trader, a scalper, a swing trader, and a position trader. Knowing that the position traders are fundamental traders, primarily fundamental traders that are paying attention to the central bank policies, all right, they will influence the swing traders, and the swing trader will influence day traders, and day trader will influence the scalpers, all right. There is order in the financial market, and one is not just doing one own thing somewhere on your 3-minute time frame, thinking that it will not affect you. That's why sometimes people end up losing because they don't pay attention to other market participants. Talking about long-term investors, position traders, swing traders, day traders, all right, and scalpers. That's the way it is, all right. So you can't say that you will escape everything using your own trading strategy somewhere in an island, in the financial market, when you are doing your own thing and you do not care about the central bank. All right, if that is you, I mean, you better stop it because I've done it myself. It's not the right way forward. All right. What is the first role of the central bank during a recession? The first role of the central bank during a recession is to boost the economy. Very simple. So the economy is going down big time, all right? So the first priority of all central banks during that time is to come up with, decision that will boost very fast the economy, restoring order and confidence in the economy. Why? Did you ask that question? Very important question. Because the investors don't like uncertainty. Right? They don't like uncertainty. So that's why when they have uncertainty, people can start selling. They will start divesting and prematurely. So in a situation of a recession, they need a leader. And the leader is what? The central bank. The first leader in the world is the Federal Reserve of America, all right? And then other central bank. Right, so we have other central bank, but we have another central bank. Central bank of all central bank is the Federal Reserve of America. You may agree or disagree, but that's the reality. So people are looking for leader that will tell them what kind of decision they are coming about with. All right. So in 2008, all right, the Federal Reserve decided, okay, to help the banks, all right, by bailing out the bank. This is about restoring confidence, because if people have their money in the bank and they don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, people will go and take their money out of the bank, creating what we call the bank run, and people running all over the place with panic. So it's to boost the economy, and by talking about the policy and the decision that they're about to make, restoring confidence in the economy. So it's about we are in recession. Everybody's pessimist. Everybody does not want to invest. Investors are pulling their money away. Everybody buying gold. All right. So the central bank want to restore a kind of confidence in the economy, telling people that I'm in charge. I can solve this problem. This is about boosting not only the economy but boosting the moral and the market sentiment. That's the first role of the central bank. All right. The second role of the central bank is to put in place policies that will help the economy. All right. So after restoring confidence in the economy, after taking the leadership role, all right, talking about what they are about to do, they will now put in place a real policy to help the economy. Usually, and quite often, the policy that the central bank will pay attention to is to control the money flow. All right, money flow. All right, this is very, very important for the central bank. So when we are talking about the money flow, we are talking about monetary policy. All right, are they going to put up interest rate in a recession? No, they will not do that. That would be completely crazy, isn't it? So you put up interest rate, what are you doing? It will be difficult for businesses, all right, to pay their debt. And also even to the government, interest rate going up, the government also have their own debt. So it will be difficult for the government itself to pay the debt, the countries to pay their debt. So it will be completely crazy to put up interest rate in a recession. So usually they will start cutting up interest rate. That's what we see in 2008. The central bank, the Federal Reserve, started with the bell, ringing the bell, the leader cutting interest rate in America. So they were just cutting it. Why were they doing that? First is to help those, that already, because the reason they are in recession, businesses cannot recruit more workers, all right? So you want to provide liquidity for them, make it easy for them, so they may have easy access to the bank, easy access to the money, all right? So they may go and buy money, very cheap, with a cheaper rate, at a lower rate. Not only borrowing money, also it's easier for them. The interest rate that they should pay on their debt is no more a burden for them. So this is about policy, monetary policy. So when we are talking about the second role of the central bank is to put in place policy, we are talking about monetary policy. Cutting interest rate, that usually the case during a recession, a proper recession, like 2008, as we see around the world. So the central bank, the Federal Reserve start cutting up interest rate, and then the Bank of England, the Bank of Japan was doing it years ago because they were in fact in recession for a long time. And then the Bank of England, all right, the Eurozone were dragging their feet, all right. It was a mistake, all right, Mr. Trichet, that was the president of the Bank of ECB, the European Central Bank, was dragging his feet to cut interest. It was a mistake because if the whole world is in a recession, America is in recession, Great Britain is in recession, it's completely crazy not to align. So they put a strategy in place, which means the Americans start cutting up the interest rate. Then the United Kingdom took over. And then, other country follow, but ECB was quite behind. All right. Now, country like Canada and Australia were not cutting interest rate because of the value of gold. Okay, the value of gold was going up during the recession. Those countries that were a huge producer of gold, when the price of gold is going up big time, it's good for Australia and also it's good for Canada. So those countries that were benefiting for the price of gold going up were not cutting to what we call commodity country. So this is it. put in place policy that will help the economy. Well, the third role of a central bank during a recession, very important, you want to understand. In fact, this is the number one role of all central banks. So if anyone asks you the question, all right, what is the number one role of a central bank? This is your correct answer: to combat the inflation. That's it. The central bank, their enemy number one is the inflation. So inflation is going up. Okay, things will become too expensive, yes or no. So you want to put the fuel in your car, okay, you're going to think twice, isn't it? So business are struggling to fill the tank. This is not good, isn't it? So that's why they want to control, all right, that's why America decided that every transaction in crude oil should be in dollar. Because if anyone can control the price of crude oil, that person will dominate the world. They can put economy under pressure if they can just, the OPEC country that are producing petrol, if they can just fuel, can just put up the price they like, they will destroy the world economy anytime they feel like. So inflation is the number one enemy of all central banks. They don't want it to go up. So they will have like an average level, all right, 2%, 2.5%, and they want to keep it around that zone. It can fluctuate around that average, but they don't want it to push it too far away because it will destroy. If you look at most of the developing country, where in fact the government, in fact, because they don't have enough power, they are under the influence of other countries. That's what we are talking about now. Because a day trader, a scalper, may say that, George, I don't have to watch this video. I'm a scalper, I'm a day trader, I'm a technical trader. Give me stochastic, give me MADI, talk about divergence. But this is it. So those small countries, all right, though they are doing their own thing, all right, they are highly affected by what is happening in America, the biggest economy in the world. So when the Federal Reserve in America was cutting interest rates during 2008 to 2012 and 2014, all right, it had a bad reputation, influence on those economy because the inflation was just going up. So the price of the gold were almost triple, all right? So it created a bit of, it's like, okay, a tsunami that's happening somewhere, and you can see the repercussion around the neighboring country. This is what's happening now. So the number one enemy of the central bank is the inflation. So during the recession, the Federal Reserve will control the inflation. That's the first thing they will start combating big time. The policy that they will make will be directed towards controlling the inflation. Because if you think of it, so we talk about the fuel, okay, going up, all right, so that's a huge impact. The transfer, if you want to have a bit of idea how the economy will do, other market participants also use the transport sector as a market indicator. All right, very, very important. All right, so people can go. So the economy show, you see, every economy you need movement. There must be a movement to flow of good and human being. Otherwise, the economy becomes stagnant. All right, very, very important. So therefore, we talk about fuel. The next thing is about the food. People can't eat. People can't even clothe themselves. Things becoming too expensive. In a recession, you are asking for, okay, social unrest. And they don't want that. And the government doesn't want that. So therefore, they must control inflation because the inflation will have even social effects. All right, they can create, all right, extremist governments. All right, they can create social unrest, rebellions. Okay, all those kind of things. So you want to make sure that people are unhappy, but they are a little bit happy, right? Which means that they have the minimum that they need. Going from A to B, the fuel is not too high. So people going to work, if they can't fill their tank to travel, that's a big issue, all right? If people come home, they can't feed their children, that's a big issue, yes or no, all right? And so on and so on. So though everybody is struggling during the recession, even the government, all right? And they want to find a way around it. The number one enemy of all central banks is to control the inflation. And how do they do it? They have an average and they want to push it back to that level. So during 2008 recession, the Federal Reserve understood quickly that, look, we want to make sure that there is money readily available to the businesses, very, very important. Because if the business are struggling, they can't recruit people, they start sacking people, pouring people on the street, that will have a social effect, all right? So they quickly make money easy for people. That's very important. Controlling the inflation at the same time. All right. And that talking about the first role of the central bank, boosting the economy, what they did quickly, they make sure that they solve the problem of the bank. So they bail out some of the bank very fast because that's the number one issue. Which organization will provide the liquidity to the business? It's the bank. So if the banks start going out of business, that's the number one engine of the economy that is going down. The drain, that's very bad. So they must protect the bank. And now with the policy cutting at interest rate, the bank will now, it will become easier for businesses to approach the bank and to borrow more money. It also become easier for businesses to pay their debt because the interest on those debts are becoming low. For individual people on the street, or it will become easier for them to buy goods, all right, and also to reduce what we call the trade balance, all right? So they make it easier for business. So when they devalue the dollar, or they devalue the dollar, what were they doing? All right, it means that it will become easier for people around the world to buy goods in America. So you have one Australian dollar, all right? Now the value of that Australian dollar converted into US dollar is now increasing because they are devaluing the US dollar. So foreigners can start buying goods from your country. So by devaluing, okay, the currencies, they are trying to boost also the export. Okay, so it become easier for that country, all right, for people to buy goods for their businesses that are doing business outside the country. So, for instance, somebody buying United States, all right, they can easily buy more, okay, because the value of the dollar went down. But in comparison to other currency, those currency have appreciated. This is it. So all in all, those are the three roles of central bank in a recession. To summarize this video, very simple. Number one, boost the economy. All right, talking exactly about what they are likely to do. This is very important. You remember in 2012, the Federal Reserve started saying to the market that very soon we will stop the quantitative easing. This is it. This is about the moral, boosting the market sentiment, all right, and avoiding uncertainty, which is the number one enemy of all investors. So boosting the economy, boosting the moral, boosting the market sentiment, this is the number one role of the central bank, okay? All right, this is the first thing. Second thing, putting in place policy that will help the economy. And when we are talking about policy, we are talking about monetary policy, okay? And the third thing that they will do is to combat the inflation, and inflation is always the number one enemy of the central bank. I hope I have managed to answer this question, all right? Trader did ask me. I promised that trader that I will answer all the questions, and this is it. And I hope I've managed to do that. If this is the case, if you find the video useful, please give us the thumbs up. If you think that, George, I'm not impressed one bit at all right? Mark it down. However, if you think that, George, for the first time you have done something very interesting, feel free to share it on the social media, all right? So until, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all right? Our YouTube channel is a George Trio. Be sure to click on the notification bell. So anytime we record a new video, you will be the first person to be notified, all right? Until the next time, enjoy yourself and be very happy. We are the TSTWSYS008 traders talking about role of central banks in recession. If you have any questions, suggestion, blah, 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 be sure to put in the comment section. I always read the comment. In due course, I'll be back again recording another tutorial. Thank you for watching and happy trading to you all.